Hey guys, so today we're going to get back to some Cricut basics. I'm going to teach you from start to finish how to actually make a shirt with your Cricut. We're going to get into Cricut Design Space. I'm going to show you how to just put some basic words together and then cut them out and then actually apply them to the shirt. So we're doing the entire process today. So we are going to be making a Blessed Mama shirt like this one. So I will teach you actually how to cut this file and how to create it, but I also have the free file for you in case you just want to upload it and follow along that way. So if you like these videos, make sure you hit the subscribe button below so you don't miss any, and let's get started. Okay, so we're going to talk about how to make this Blessed Mama for our t-shirt. So this is Cricut Design Space that is offline now. So it's a little bit different. Most of what you do in it is the same, but there's a little bit different with the fonts and downloads and things. So the first thing you're going to do is when you come into Cricut Design Space is open a new project. And then we're just going to use text. So over here, we're going to click the text box. And I like to make different text boxes for all of my words because I'm going to make these into different fonts. So I'm going to write blessed, then I'm going to open another text box and write mama. And you can do all capitals, all lowers, whatever you want to do. So now I'm going to go up to blessed, and up here under the font, I'm going to click on this and you'll see the drop down. So this is what's a little bit different now. You'll notice over here that now you have to download these on your computer, which I don't really like that part of it. I actually like using it online. So if you have Cricut access, you'll see that, and I do. So you'll see I can choose all of these and I don't have to pay for them, but then I have to download them on my computer. So I am going to use just what's in my system, so I don't have to download anything. And I picked, since pretty much every computer comes with Arial, I picked that one for the top. So I'm just going to scroll down until I get to an Arial. I'm just going to use Arial Black here and click on it. So you'll see that this one will change. So you'll see now it changed. There's a little bit of a lag here. So for Mama, I want a script. So again, I'm going to go into my system fonts, and these are all going to be different. So this is going to depend on what you have on your computer is what's going to be in your system. And I have a ton of fonts, and I will link below where I get my fonts from. I get a lot of free fonts for commercial use. And then I also have a video on how to upload those to use them here. So I'm going to go, and I picked Best Dreams. So I'm just going to click that one. So I like to use this search a lot if I know what font I'm going to use. So script fonts, when they come in, they do not come in attached. So we will have to attach it. Okay, so I'm just going to make this bigger by dragging on these arrows so you can see it. And what I like to do is I come up to the letter space here and I just start pushing the down button until some of them start connecting. So like this A and the M connect. I'll see that that one's not going to connect as well. So I'm going to move that one by itself. So once it gets to kind of how I want it there, at least with these two, then I'm going to come up to ungroup, click that button, and now you'll see you can manipulate them individually. So like this A, I'm just going to move over so it's on there. This M, I think I'm actually going to make it bigger. So I'm just going to use this arrow here and make it bigger. And then move it there so you can't really see the tail of it. So once I have it exactly how I want it, I'm going to use my cursor. I'm going to put a box around it, and I'm going to come down here and I'm going to click the weld button. The weld makes it so all that these little tails will disappear. If you just click attach, you'll still have these tails cut out that are overlapping. So the weld button makes it one continuous cut there. Okay, so now I'm going to make this bigger. So my blessed, I'm actually going to make it kind of taller. So I want to change the size, but not keep the proportions. So I'm going to hit the lock button and you'll see it goes to unlock. And now I have a 4-way drag. So now I can move it all different ways. So I'm going to make it shorter and kind of taller. and then move it to where I want it. Again, changing whatever size. So I'm going to cut this all out of one color to make it easy to show you how to do that. So when I get it exactly how I want it, I'm going to use my cursor again, put a box around it, and now come down and click attach. So now it's attached, and that tells Cricut I want it exactly like this for my shirt. If you weren't going to do it all in one color, I'm going to hit the detach so I can show you. Make sure you hit the blessed as attach on itself so that it cuts out exactly like this. And then you could change this, say, to a different color if you want two different colors like that. And then it will cut out on two different mats. But I'm going to go back and make this black. And again, attach these all together. So for me, I like to use templates to see what it's going to look like and kind of how I'm going to size it. So up here, you'll see you have your templates, and it brings up a bunch of different ones. And I'm just going to go in and find a shirt template. It's the scoop neck one, and you'll see it brings it in and it says it's just for reference. So these don't cut out at all. And up here, you could actually change the type of it. So I'm going to go to women's short sleeve. I'm going to go to a medium. You can even change the color if you want to see kind of with the background what it will look like. So now when I bring this over here, I'm going to make it a little bit bigger. And so I can see exactly how I want it. So if you just wanted like a small one up in, say, the corner, you can do that. But I'm going to do, say, that size. And usually I will measure my shirt and just make sure, because all shirts are a little bit different. But usually I know about 10 inches or so is about what I usually do. So now that I have it like this, you're going to want to save it. So that you have it. Click save, and that will be saved. And so when I'm ready to make it, I'm going to click the green button, and this brings up the prepare mat. So this is where you can change it to mirror right here. So with Ironon, you always need to cut it out in mirror setting, especially words. So I'm going to click the mirror here. So now it's on, and you'll see that it flipped over right here. So then as I go to continue, it's going to look for my machine, and I have the maker that I'm using. And so once I find it, I'm going to set my material. So if you're just using an everyday iron-on, you would just select that. And again, it tells you make sure mirror is turned on and that the iron-on is facing down. So it will always tell you. And also, if you forgot to click mirror before, you can always come into this and the edit and click it down here. Okay, but I'm going to use a patterned iron-on. So I'm going to go to Browse All Materials, and then under the categories, just go down to iron-on, and then you'll see it brings up a whole bunch. And this you can do if you have a Cricut Explore Air or the Air 2. If you turn your knob to custom, then you will get the drop-down menu. I just think it's easier to use the drop-down one because it has all of these preset in here. So I am going to use a patterned iron-on. And click done. Okay, so it tells me exactly what to do. So we're going to load our mat and cut. Okay, so with iron-on vinyl, you're going to want to use a blue mat, or like I said, an old standard grip mat that is green, that is less sticky. So here are some different iron-ons. So with iron-on, since you're cutting it on mirror setting, you're always going to want to put it the shiny side down. So you can see with this one's kind of a dull side, and this is the shiny side. This is the plastic backing that when you put on the shirt, you apply the heat to this side. So you want the plastic backing on the top so it doesn't melt. So that's why you always want this shiny side down. So you would just put it right on the mat. Once you have it on the mat, I like to use a brayer, and this just helps it make sure that it's smooth on all sides for it to cut. But for this one, I'm actually going to use a pattern. So I just wanted to show you on the green so you can see the pattern's much easier to tell because on this side it doesn't have a color or anything to it. So I'm going to put my pattern side down on the mat. And again, press it down well with my brayer. Okay, so now with my Ironon on my mat, I'm going to insert it underneath the 2 white brackets. My Cricut is blinking with the arrow, so I'm going to push the arrow and let it load the mat. And once the C starts blinking, I'm going to push that and let the Cricut cut out the Ironon. And once the Cricut stops, the arrow will start blinking again, and then I'm just going to push it and unload my mat. Okay, so I looked up on the heat guide and it says for my EasyPress for pattern iron-on, I need it at 340. So I'm going to push the on button, push the temperature, and just raise this to 340 and push that again. And it said for 30 seconds, so I'm going to leave that there. So I'm going to let this preheat while I weed this out. So first I'm just gonna cut off the extra. And then I'm going to use my weeding tool. And I like to start up in the left-hand corner, probably because I'm right-handed. And you're just going to pull up apart and just start pulling it away. I like to leave it on the mat so it kind of helps it stick down. Just going to keep pulling it, and you see it just comes off really easily. And I cut off some of my thing, didn't I? Oh, geez. Okay. So, see, a lot of times I mess up a lot too. So I'm just going to pull that off. And then I'm going to go in and just weed out the extra little pieces inside. So my EasyPress is almost preheated. I'm putting it on my EasyPress mat. And first I'm just gonna press the shirt to get the moisture out. And it doesn't have to be at its correct temperature to do this. Just gonna kind of rub it around for about 5 or 10 seconds. And then to get the center, I actually like to fold my shirts in half. Get it folded. I just press it again right on the center so it creates a line. So now I have a line right down the center there. So then I'm actually going to fold this in half. To get a line on here. And then I'm going to line those lines up. So then I know it's straight. That one on first, and then I will apply the little part that I missed there. So since I'm going to press it twice, I'm only going to leave it on here for about 10 or 15 seconds because I don't want it to shrink too much. If I was just going to do it one time, I would press it for the full 30 seconds and then flip it over. But since I have that extra little piece to add, I'm only doing it for half the time. Okay, so now let's try to get this on here. And then so I don't melt this, since I've already pressed it, I'm actually gonna put a piece of tape on this. This is a heat resistant tape. And put a Teflon sheet, a protective sheet over it. So now I'm gonna press it for the full 30 seconds. So I'm just gonna push the green button so the time will count down. Okay. So once that's done, I'm going to flip the whole thing over and press the back for 15 seconds. And this just helps make sure it's really adhered on it really well. I'm going to put it back on. And once that gets to 15, it's all done. Okay, so there you have a nice new shirt that you made yourself.